Hello there, welcome to the sports segment with me, Razak Musbau. Well, after many years without sports policy, the country is on the verge of finalising one with the objective of developing the sports sector. The Sports Minister, Mustafa Yusuf, met stakeholders yesterday to solicit input on the draft national sports policy.
Today's event is a manifestation of the direction and focus of my administration in establishing a sustainable and targeted strategies for the development of sports in its entirety. I'm very, very grateful to you all for taking time off your busy schedule to come here for this very important and historic chapter we have embarked on. We are indeed thankful and grateful, and we are also very certain that with a huge repertoire of knowledge and experience, this draft document will be enhanced and enriched so that at the end we will achieve our objective for establishing the committee that has come out with the draft. When the document is published, we can all identify with it and come together to work towards its success. As the purpose of this meeting and the document has indicated, and my Chief Director just mentioned why we are here, the consultation and the draft document, please feel free to feed into it and bring your thoughts, ideas to make this document really ours and to direct our focus and attention to achieve the dream and the wishes we have always imagined and we had for sports of our dear country. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Ghana has been in dear need of policy direction for the development of sports in our country. The absence of the sports policy or program to inform sports development and sports for development is a dent in our sports journey, considering the international reputation of our athletes have built for our nation in various sporting disciplines.
Well, let's talk about handball because Ghana is set to host the 2023 Zone 3 edition of the International Handball Federation for under-17 and under-19 girls in Accra. The Handball Association of Ghana inaugurated a 10-member local organizing committee for the event. Here is the association's president, Neil Lante Bannerman.
I'm particularly excited because I know that Ghana for a very long time has been yearning to host this particular tournament. It's a developmental program. That's why it's for the under-17s and under-19s. And this time around, it's going to be an all-female tournament. And I know the inherent nature of Ghanaians. We are all stable and we can deliver. I know very much so that this particular program is going to open other doors for us to get other tournaments to host. It's not going to be juvenile programs, but we'll have an African tournament to host. It depends on how we handle it. As we get to be inaugurated as a local organizing committee, I would want to urge everyone that will be mentioned to put his or her shoulders to the cause, so that at the end they will be able to deliver and deliver well. I believe in the adage that the end justifies the means. We might be small now, but I'm very sure by the time our term of office will be up, Ghana handball will be bigger than it is now.
That's Real Madrid playing the finals with Al Hilal of Saudi Arabia. Now let's get to Germany and get in touch with my colleague with DWTV, Chris Harrington. Chris, good to see you again. I mean, let's talk about Bayern Munich because they will face Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League next week. But there's been some news on Mbappe fitness that Bayern apparently are not believing. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, well, the news came out about Mbappe not being available for the first tie on February 14th. And basically, Julian Nagelsmann in a press conference prior to this recent Bundesliga match day, accused PSG of playing poker. Basically, PSG announced that Mbappe would miss up to 3 weeks with a thigh injury, which would rule him out, for Valentine's Day massacre or whatever you want to label PSG versus Bayern Munich in the French capital. But Nagelsmann said he doesn't think he'll be out. He doesn't know what he's got, but he assumed he's playing, and the game plan will be as such. But the PSG coach responded, and he said that he read what Nagelsmann said, and he said playing mind games, that's not his style, not his at all. Mbappe has been invaluable offensively, scored over 20 goals, over a handful in the Champions League, and he's expected to miss a few key fixtures. So obviously we have to wait and see what happens, but it could set the stage for a possible return fixture back in Germany that could possibly welcome the return of Sadio Mane. So that could be a very interesting encounter. We have to wait and see what happens next week. My instinct tells me that, hey, why would you go against a coach? What kind of stupid mind game would he be playing? If Mbappe's injured, he's injured. And we have to wait and see how Bayern responds. But that's all, just a little bit back and forth, a bit of smoke before the fire to come.
It's a bit about Manuel Neuer because, following the interview he granted, there was a bit of back and forth with the team. And we understand German grades, Matos, is calling for Manuel Neuer to be stripped of the captaincy. I mean, what's happening in there?
Yeah, I did talk about Manuel Neuer, in his kind of off-the-cuff comments, his unauthorized tell-all interviews with media outlets that have kind of outraged Bayern brass. Well, one former football great, Lothar Matthäus, has called for Manuel Neuer to be stripped of his captaincy with Bayern Munich. And I don't know if that's a right decision or wrong decision, but it would make sense. I mean, you don't know how long this man will be sidelined. There's been mixed reviews about his medical status. And he hasn't been very captain-like. The one captain-like mentality I'd like to see is the vice captain, Joshua Kimmich. I mean, it's a fitting, vice captain. I think he should be captain. He is the anchor in the middle, and he's been an iron man in terms of being on the pitch, contributing the most minutes despite the recent red card. But Manuel Neuer, I don't know, what's up with him, but he should be setting a better example, I think. Obviously, you want to speak your mind, and you're free to do that as an individual, but you do have to keep in mind when you're representing something greater than yourself, you should be cautious with what you say. And I'm sure that's will be the conversation Bayern have with Manuel Neuer. And a few other things about Bayern Munich. I didn't mention this earlier in the week, but a 19-year-old is leading their offense. Jamal Musiala now has 10 goals on the season. That's the most of any Bayern player. And he has 6 assists on the season. That's the most of any Bayern player. Is that a good or bad thing? I wonder, should a 19-year-old be the most prolific offensive player on Bayern Munich? I don't think so. But salute to Jamal Musiala for that recent milestone of reaching 10 goals.
And big salute to you too, Chris, and thanks so much for all of that update. That's all we have for you in AM Sports. With me, Razak Musbau. There's more on the AM show this day.